Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here. So I just got back from watching Venom Let There Be Carnage and finally, because I've waited such a long time for this film, guys, over a year. It's been delayed several times due to COVID, which has been an absolute pain, but today I was finally able to see it at cinema. So yeah, and now I'm going to be talking spoilers about this movie, guys. So yeah. So I'm going to give you guys from the count of 3 to 0. So yeah, this is your last warning, guys. If you want to avoid spoilers, so here we go. So 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so now right off the bat, guys, I'm going to say very confidently that I actually enjoyed this movie more than the first film. Yeah. I gave the first film 7 out of 10, because I thought it had a pretty weak start. It dragged on a bit, but this movie, however, I really enjoyed a lot. So, and we'll get to why. But was it a perfect movie, the best movie ever? No, I did have a couple of issues with it. So yeah. Anyway, so what's the movie about? So the film begins with a flashback in the 90s where we see a young Cletus Cassidy incarcerated in a place called St. Estes Home for Unwanted Children, and we see his love interest called Frances Barrison, who has the ability of sound manipulation where she can scream loudly. She's been taken away to Ravencroft Institute. Yeah, that's it. I think it's Ravencroft, yeah, not Ravenscroft, yeah. On the way, she's able to escape by using her sonic power screams to attack the officer that's taken away, called Patrick Mulligan, played by in this flashback he was played by Sean Delaney, but in the present he's played by Stephen Graham. And he then shoots her in the eye, and he gets an injury in his ear, and he thinks that he's killed her, but she was actually taken to a facility which is hardened against her powers, so yeah, it's safe, so she can't use her powers in there. But he thinks that he's killed her. Now, then we get back to present day, where we see that Mulligan, who is now working as a detective, is asking Eddie Brock, played by the great Tom Hardy, to speak to Cassidy, who refuses to talk to anyone other than Eddie. After their interview they had the previous year, as depicted in the mid-credit scene of the first Venom film. So, so after they visit Cletus, who has shorter hair now compared to a previous film, because his hair was pretty long, he's had a haircut, which I think looked better. It looked more favourable to the comics, in my opinion, and also based on the Spider-Man animated series as well. Yeah, absolutely. After a visit, the symbiote of Venom is able to figure out where Cassidy has hidden the body of his victims. So yeah, and this gives Eddie a new career boost. So yeah. He's then contacted by his ex-fiancée Anne Wayne, played by Michelle Williams, who tells him that she's now engaged to Dan Lewis. And, Venom is disappointed about this, but, Eddie wishes her best of luck. So, yeah. And Cassidy has now been found guilty of his crimes, and he's been sentenced to death row by lethal injection. And he invites Brock over to the prison where he's out. I think it's called San Quentin State Prison, if I remember correctly. And he wants him to attend his execution. But the thing is, Cassidy insults Eddie by saying loads and loads of insults about his family and stuff like that, and that Eddie is trying to hold it back so he won't get into trouble, but Venom gets really angry and he attacks Cassidy. And during the chaos, Cassidy bites Eddie's finger. And accidentally he ingests part of the Venom symbiote, and I could tell this happened because Cassidy said that he's tasted normal before, but Eddie's blood tasted differently, so yeah. It was determined that he's drunk blood before, but then again, it's clear as Cassidy, what do you expect? He's a criminal, so he's dangerous. And Eddie's just disappointed with Venom, guys. So when they get back home, Venom wants to have more freedom to eat bad people, and as a result, this gets into a big argument he has with Eddie, where they smash up the apartment and everything like that, and things fall all out the window. And eventually, the symbiote detaches from Eddie, and then they go all their separate ways. So yeah, and Venom runs away. And Venom even goes to like some sort of club to dance and like, you know, making his way, you know, making friends and stuff like that. So yeah, it was cool how he showed, you know, what would happen if they were separated. Now, meanwhile, when Cassie's been executed by lethal injection, guys, it all goes horribly wrong because the injection of the, you know, the poisoning to kill him is blocked by a red symbiote. And then we get, you know, and then he transforms into a symbiote which is none other than Carnage. So yeah. And then he goes on a violent rampage in a prison, killing everyone, and he frees all the inmates, and yeah. But yeah, we'll get on to like a bad quality vote, which about this movie in a bit. But yeah, but that scene was really cool, guys. You know, really epic, and it shows how dangerous Carnage is. In my opinion, guys, Woody Harrelson was the best actor in this movie, and Carnage was definitely a much better villain than Wright in the first film, in my opinion. Much better, way more entertaining and way more interesting as well, in my opinion. And it also appears as though the Cassidy and Carnage symbiote have like a bond like Eddie and Venom did, and they make a deal. Carnage will help Cassidy break out Frances out of Ravencroft, and Cassidy will help him take down Brock and Venom. So yeah. So Detective Mulligan calls Eddie to let him know about the situation, and meanwhile in Ravencroft, Cassidy frees Frances from it, and yeah, and then they go to their old childhood home to burn it down. You know, the place called St. Esther's home. Yeah, they burn it down. So yeah. Meanwhile, Mulligan, who is suspicious of Brock due to his interactions with Cassidy before Carnage emerged, he takes Eddie to a police station to question him. Eddie refuses to answer Mulligan's questions, and he contacts Anne to be his lawyer. And Eddie reveals to her that Venom is separated from him, and he needs the symbiote to fight Carnage. So he can't fight Carnage with Eddie, he needs the symbiote. And Venom is unfortunately, you know, starving because he's not eaten very much. So luckily, he makes his way into Mrs. Chen's shop. And yeah, I do like Mrs. Chen, guys. She's really funny and entertaining. So yeah, I liked her a lot in both this one and the first film. Yeah, she was amazing in this, and pretty funny as well, in my opinion. And he makes his way to her shop, and he takes possession of her briefly until Anne comes in, and she convinces Venom to forgive Eddie. So she bonds with Venom, and she becomes She-Venom again, guys, which was pretty cool. I'm so glad She-Venom returned. I did like that because its appearance in the first film was pretty nice. It was cool to see it return in this. So she comes to see Eddie, and she helps him break out of a police station, and then after that, Brock and Venom make amends, and they bond together again. Cletus then takes Mulligan hostage, you know, to help Frances get her revenge on him, and she captures Anne after failing to find Eddie. So Frances gives Lewis information on Anne's whereabouts. So yeah, Dan Lewis, yeah, and he gives it to Eddie so he can find her. And Cletus and Frances are planning to get married at a cathedral, guys. So yeah, this is of course from the second trailer. Yeah, you know, where Venom gets scared. And we got, of course, that saying in from the trailer, you know, where Venom is too scared to fight Carnage. But yeah, and Eddie says that he'll let him eat everybody. So yeah, but unlike the trailer though, guys, Venom didn't say "oh yeah" when he said he'll let him eat everybody, because he said "oh yeah" when he destroyed Eddie's motorbike. So yeah, if here's if he used that line in the trailer to make it different, you know, I think, yeah. After this, what happens is they fight, and yeah, the fight between Venom and Carnage was definitely one of the highlights of the movie, in my opinion. Very epic, and the CGI for the symbiotes was amazing, in my opinion. Now, Frances, meanwhile, appears to have killed Mulligan by hanging him onto a chain, and Venom holds his own against Carnage, but eventually Carnage overpowers him brutally, and then he decides to kill Anne on top of a cradle by dragging her upwards. But luckily, Venom climbs up to the top with a spear. He's able to rescue her in the nick of time by stabbing Carnage with a spear, and this allows her to be lowered down so that Dan can grab her, because he comes to help by using a flamethrower to help. So yeah. I will say that I did definitely tolerate Dan and Anne a lot more in this film, because they had a purpose helping out Eddie a lot. more in this film, which was pretty cool. So yeah. And Venom also manages to provoke Frances into using her screaming power again, which causes both the symbiotes to separate from their host because they hate loud noise. And this causes the eagle to collapse, and the fallen bell kills Frances, so yeah, that's the end of her. I gotta say, guys, that, you know, Frances was definitely a great villain in this movie, you know, Shriek, played by Naomi Harris. She's a great actress, guys. My favourite she played is probably Tia Dalma in Pirates of the Caribbean, but yeah. You know, it was definitely great as this character, really good. Now, so Venom is able to save Brock's life by bonding with him before he falls, so yeah, Eddie is saved. The Carnage symbiote tries to bond with Cletus again, but Venom is able to stop it by standing on it, and then he eats it, so yeah, that's the end of the symbiote. Cletus then says that all he wanted was to be Eddie's friend, but we got a pretty funny Venom one where he says, you know, F this guy, and he eats his head. So yeah. And, So Eddie, Venom, Anne, and Dan escape, and but then it appears as though Mulligan's eyes is still alive because you know, because he appears to be living. And what's cool is, guys, his eyes are flashing blue, and from what I've heard, guys, he is a version of Toxin from the comics, which is pretty cool. So yeah, like one of many different symbiotes. So yeah, there's a chance he might be, you know, the main villain, maybe Venom 3. Maybe. I really don't know. So it's a chance it might be the main villain. Who knows? So Eddie and Venom decide to take on a vacation while they decide what to do next. So yeah, that's when the film ends. But me and my friend Declan, who I saw a film with, we definitely have an agreement that we can't, you know, leave when the credits are rolling. We've got to stay for any mid-credit scenes. And guess what, guys? There was a mid-credit scene. So yeah, we stayed behind for this. And we see Venom and Eddie are lying on their bed in their, you know, hotel room on holiday, watching TV. And Venom wants to tell Eddie all about, you know, the symbiote's knowledge of other universes, but however, this, like, really shocked me, guys, and, you know, what happened is, there was, like, some sort of, you know, strange thing that happened to a room where everything changed, you know. At first, Eddie thought Venom was doing something, but Venom said it's not him, and then, you know, the room changed, and, you know, they were transported to another room, and, guys, guess what, right? On the TV in their room, we saw J. Jonah Jameson reporting about Spider-Man identity of Peter Parker from Far From Home. Like, I was like, what the? Like, I was so happy that, you know, we're finally going to see, you know, Venom, like, looking at, you know, Spider-Man at last. You know, my favourite Venom looking at Spider-Man. Like, yes! I was so happy about that. Like, thank goodness for that, you know, I'm so happy, you know. That probably means, guys, that Venom might be in No Way Home, maybe, I really don't know. It'd be pretty cool. But wow. Like, that was just absolutely incredible, guys. Like, probably one of the best highlights of the film. Like, I just couldn't believe it. I was so happy that they actually did that, you know. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, so that's what I think of the movie, guys. I think it's much better than the first one, in my opinion. You know, great villain and visual effects, and also music was also really good by Marco Beltrami as well. And Andy Serkis was phenomenal as a director. The king of motion capture, like, he nailed it. He really did. He was brilliant. And, however, he was trying to any bad qualities. One that I will say, guys, is that I really don't like how this movie was rated PG-13 in the United States. In my country, it was rated 15, but sadly, guys, the problem is that the thing is, they cut out so much, you know, violence sort of thing, because Carnage, while he was a great villain, I didn't like how, you know, they didn't show, like, very much, you know, gruesome moments, because Carnage is such a dark, brutal character. There wasn't any, like, you know, brutal moments of Carnage, which, you know, disappointed me, to be honest, because I wanted to see how dark he was, you know, but because he's not, you know, a kid-friendly villain, he's definitely not that, like, he's R-rated for crying out loud, you know. Like, I don't understand, you know, why they didn't make him, you know, so dark, yeah, and, plus, another thing as well that I didn't really like much was, you know, sure, when it comes to Anne and Dan, they didn't have much screen time in this film, guys, but, you know, still, I'm glad they at least played, you know, a purpose towards the end where they helped Eddie and Venom, you know, defeat Carnage and Cletus and, you know, and, Frances, so, yeah. So I'm glad they, you know, helped out, which was good, but, yeah. and I could tolerate him a little bit more than, you know, than this, in this one compared to the previous film. And plus, Tom Hardy, I'll always love him as Venom. He's my favourite Venom of all time, absolutely. And another thing as well that also I didn't really like was how short this film was, because compared to the first Venom film, which was 112 minutes, this film was 97 minutes. So yeah, it definitely felt shorter. Like it flew by, in my opinion. But I'm not saying it was a bad movie. No, of course not. I just feel like it was rushed a bit, you know, like. That's why I'm hoping that, you know, there's like an extended cut out there that won't make it to theatres, you know, which will be, you know, rated, you know, R-rated in America. Like, I really hope they'll do like an R-rated extended cut, you know, like a director's cut maybe. You know, I'd love to see that, absolutely. You know, because Carnage is definitely not a kid's character, guys. You know, they should have made him much more darker, to be honest. But, you know, still, Woody Harrelson's performance, in my opinion, was the best in this movie. He was definitely the best actor in this movie, in my opinion. He nailed it, you know. I think now, guys, I think probably Carnage might be my favourite role of Woody Harrelson. Maybe. I really don't know, because I do like him also as Tallahassee in Zombieland as well. He's a great actor. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, so if you're wondering what I would give this movie out of 10, well, compared to the first Venom film, which I gave 7 out of 10 to, this movie I give an 8.5 out of 10 to, because, you know, Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson nailed their roles as Venom and Carnage perfectly, in my opinion, and so did Naomi Harris as Shriek as well, and so yeah. I've got a feeling that the ending with, you know, Patrick Mulligan is teasing Toxin in Venom 3, I think. Yeah, because Tom Hardy confirmed his contract to be in a third Venom film, which is pretty exciting, isn't it? And yeah. And I did also like Anne and Dan a lot more in this one compared to the first one, because they were much more tolerable. In the previous one, they were a little bit annoying, you know, because they weren't, you know, on good terms with Eddie, you know, and whatever. But yeah, in this one, they helped him, which I really appreciate them doing. So yeah. So yeah, I'll give this movie 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, guys, and yeah. And the post-credit scene made me really hyped for No Way Home. I can't wait for No Way Home, guys. So yeah, you know, I'm very excited about that movie, you know, but yeah. Anyway, guys, so this was me, you know, doing my review of Venom Let There Be Carnage. It was definitely worth the wait, you know. I enjoyed it way more than Black Widow and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, absolutely, guys. So yeah. Because the MCU is not really interesting at that point, you know, because after seeing No Way Home, I will be retiring, but yeah, from watching the MCU, but yeah, this movie definitely was really amazing to watch, really fun, so yeah. So you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to in the comments what you guys thought of Venom Let There Be Carnage if you've seen it, and tell me what your thoughts on how you'd rate it. Let's see your thoughts on it, and do you like it more than the first film, or do you like the first film more? Let me know about that as well. Also, be sure to join the team by pressing subscribe for more videos coming in the future. If you want to become a member, you can click on the join button if you're using a PC or laptop, or you can click on the link below in the description. And I will see you all later.